Hello everyone. It's been a little while since I recorded. The last time I made a video, I was telling you why I went into the hospital. Well, since then, I've been in there 2 more times. Everything was from a severe kidney infection to dehydration, and the last time I went in, it was strep throat, dehydration, and an elevated heart rate. That morning, I woke up and I had a sore throat. I ignored it. Later on, I took my daughter to a swim party, pool party, and started feeling a lot of pain in my legs, and my body was aching, but I kind of thought it was still from the kidney infection, even though I had finished my antibiotics like a couple days before then. So it got unbearable, and I had to leave. I just called my cousin over to stay with my niece and my daughter. I went to ER, and my head was hurting so bad, everything was hurting. Long story short, I was in, they admitted me, and I needed IV and everything. I was extremely dehydrated, strep throat, and so on. The last few weeks I've been extremely stressed out, from personal matters to things with the manager. I've got to move soon, August 17th to be exact. I got to be out of my house. And it's been a really extremely stressful time for many reasons. So in the last few months, since like April, maybe the end of March, the managers have been over on and off. I shared that. Excuse me if I sound horrible. I still feel like dizzy and kind of, I'm still getting over it. All of this hit me at once. So the managers have been coming. First it was an inspection that supposedly was required by the city or LA County, I don't know. So they started coming over 2 weeks prior to that to fix things in a hurry to cover themselves and try to be up to code. Well, the inspection came around and it turns out that they weren't exactly up to code. They didn't cover everything. So they rescheduled for, June, which is, well, we're in July now, but for the end of June. So they were coming over, and during the time that I was sick, they came over when the third time I went to the hospital and it was really bad. They were coming over, and I had just started getting really stressed out because they come unannounced. They come, they'll let me know maybe that morning or something like that. But anyway, moving on. I had a 60-day notice in the middle of June. And then they gave me another notice at the end of June for a 3-day notice. So this is what happened. I had complained about the air conditioning because it was so hot in here. We're in the desert. And it just hasn't been working properly for years. And he kept claiming that it was. He came one time and changed a filter, and that was it. But it still wasn't working right. So I called him when I was really sick. This was just a few days ago. And I said, hey, I have a guy coming out to check the air conditioning because it's extremely hot. It's unfair to my children. We're sweating in here. And he told me, well, I went over there and it was working fine. He said, I looked at your thermostat. And he did. This is when he was over here last. He looked at my thermostat and it said 86 degrees. It was 100 and something outside. So he said, well, that's pretty good, and walked off like whatever, So anyways, I've been bedridden most of the time the last week and a half or so. I just wanted to come on here and make a video, and I'm trying to get better. But anyways, it was so hot one day. It was 106 degrees in here, and so I couldn't take it. I called him and I said I am having a guy come over to check the air conditioning because it's too much. So the next day the man came, and all the system needed was Freon. And so after that, the air conditioning worked. Anyways, someone called inspection on the managers. It wasn't me personally, but someone called and let them know that the air conditioning wasn't working properly and needed to be fixed. So the very next day, I'm coming home from getting food or whatever it was I was getting, and he's here at my house, and my uncle is here visiting, and he's interrogating him. He's like, "Do you live here?" And da-da-da. And I come up from behind him. I'm like, "Excuse me, I'm here now." His wife comes from out of the car, and she's just irate. She's yelling at the top of her lungs about who called inspection on us, and how dare you guys, and blah, I've been trying to be nice, and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, she's screaming, though, so bad to the point where she scared my little boy. And I told the manager, the husband, because he was more calm, when normally the roles flipped. Normally he's, more outspoken and crazy, and she's calm. It was much the other way around this time. And I said, "Look, I'm weak. I don't feel well. I don't need this. I don't know who called inspection on you guys, but I did call the man for the air conditioning because we couldn't take it anymore, and the problem is now fixed." And so he's still going off, and he gives me a 3-day notice, and he's like, "We've tried to be nice," and he's all, "We've seen your animals here, but we didn't say anything." And I told him, I said, "In the beginning, I told you I had animals. And I only had 2 in the beginning, to be fair. I had a dog and a cat. And now I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. But they're not new. They've been here for 4 years, and they've known of them. And I made it a point to tell them. But see, where I made a mistake is I didn't put it in writing. And from now on, this has taught me a lesson to put everything in writing so that they can't use it against you. Even when they act friendly, they can use those things against you. But anyways, it's just been really stressful because it's like, how do you give me 2 notices within 12 days? It was just insanely crazy and just too much. So the next day, he apologizes for part of it, and he just says, "Well, we'll go ahead and honor the 60-day." So I was like, okay. I mean, it's still really hard, as being a blind mother of 3 on a limited income, he expects me to not only move God knows where, but also pay rent. I know that's how it normally works, but it's just so nerve-wracking. It's like I have to pay rent, pay bills, and then come up with money to move because you're selling the house. It's not even because there's any foul terms or anything like that. It's not, what I mean is, I'm sorry, I can barely think. It's not like I did something and they're kicking me out. I'm not exactly being evicted. It's more like they want to sell the house, so, that's what he says. At first he was saying he wanted to rent it for more, but he's saying now that he wants to sell it, and I'm just racking my brain. And the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks of being sick has really has slowed me down from searching for somewhere to live. It's been crazy. I've been physically just not well, like from the kidney infection, I was in pain. I haven't been eating right. I'm still eating like lightly, you can't eat too much. And then when I got the strep throat, I couldn't eat either, so I'm like on a liquid slash like yogurt diet and stuff. So it's been really hard. Everything's expensive. Excuse me. I'm trying though, and it just sucks because I feel like I try to do things right, whether it's just by whoever. I try to be right all the time, and I feel like I always get shafted somehow. And I'm not trying to make a pity video. I'm just trying to express myself. It's like I pay my rent. I don't buy myself clothes. Not too much, not too TMI, but I mean, I just don't. I don't buy myself anything. It's my rent, my kids. Those are my priority. You know, rent, make sure they have lights, food, and what they need. You know what I mean? And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that do, but there's a lot of people that don't do it, you know, do the things they're supposed to, and yet it seems like they get what they want or somehow are taken care of, and they don't see it even, you know. And I'm struggling, I'm trying, and I'm not saying that, you know, my kids don't go hungry. I'm not saying that. My point is I try so hard, and with these managers I've been a good tenant. I always pay my rent. I don't complain, and maybe that's the problem. I think that's the problem a lot in my life is I don't speak up for what I need to. And I know I'm a grown woman. I just don't like conflict, though. I don't like confrontation. I'd much rather avoid it. I keep to myself, and I try as hard as I can to make others happy and do what I need to. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids, they depend on me, and I love that, and I do all I can to provide for them and to do what's right for them, you know. And it just seems like I always get the short end of the stick, like now. And I know everybody's going through something, and it's just the situation could be worse. You know, I thank God I'm sitting here right now. I thank God for my children, and I thank God for the time that we've been in this house. I just feel like I try so hard, and the harder you try, the harder you get knocked down. And anyways, if you guys have any advice, I'm asking for your advice. I don't know. I'm in California, and I want to stay here. You know, it's really expensive. Just pray for me, and I'm praying for you, and I'm just trying to get healthy as far as physically as well. And things have just been crazy, you know. But anyway, I hope you all are well, and always remember to take care of yourself, because you're no good to nobody else if you're not well. You got to take care of yourself. Drink lots of water. I've been told that so much during this time. And I appreciate all of you who have been there for me. You know who you are. Thanks for checking on me. I love you guys, and take care of each other, all right? God bless.